Chapter: The Wrath of the Gator. The team moved carefully along the uneven terrain of Atlantis. The ruins, a mix of jagged stone, glowing metromite veins, and overgrown alien flora. Damon led the way, his weapon held firmly, his eyes darting to every shadow and flicker of movement. His stance was tense, every muscle coiled, ready for an attack. He didn't speak. His focus was on protecting the group. Behind him, Jace walked at a slower pace, stopping every few steps to examine the vibrant, otherworldly plants sprouting from cracks in the stone. "Theo," he said, holding up a flower with glowing, water-like petals. "This is insane! Look at this thing! It's like it's made of liquid light!" Theo and Lena, walking beside him, glanced at the flower and nodded. "Fascinating! I wonder how it adapted to survive here. Half the city is underwater, the rest exposed to who knows what kind of conditions, and yet the ecosystem is thriving." "Exactly," Jay said, carefully placing the flower into a sample container. "These plants aren't just surviving, they're evolving. And who knows what they're capable of? Healing properties, regeneration. Hell, this flower might hold the key to reversing aging or curing diseases we haven't even identified yet." Theo raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "So that's your goal here? Finding a miracle plant?" Jace grinned, his boyish enthusiasm shining through. "Oh, absolutely. Imagine it, Theo. A single plant that could revolutionize medicine. No more chemo, no more long hospital stays. Just one little dose and bam, cancer gone. Wounds healed, lives saved. That's why I'm here." "Well, that and to keep you nerds entertained, of course." Theo chuckled. "You do have a knack for making light of things, I'll give you that. But do you really think such a plant exists? Isn't it a bit of a long shot?" "Long shots are my specialty," Jace said, stopping to examine a vine wrapped around a broken column. "I know it's a gamble, but so is everything we're doing here, right? Your crystal's a gamble. Damon's paranoia." He shot a glance toward Damon, who didn't react, his weapon still aimed at the shadows ahead. "Is a gamble. I figure if I can find just one plant with real healing properties, it'll be worth it." Theo considered this, his voice turning thoughtful. "You're not wrong. Atlantis was advanced in ways we can't fully understand yet. Their entire civilization revolved around balance, harmony between technology, nature, and people. It's not far-fetched to think their ecosystem evolved with the same principles in mind." "Exactly," Jace said, waving a hand as if Theo had just proven his point. "And it's not just about the science. It's about hope, you know? People need something to believe in, something to remind them the world doesn't have to be all greed and corruption." Theo gave him a sidelong glance. "Coming from you, that's surprisingly profound." Jace smirked. "Don't get used to it, Professor. I've got a reputation to uphold." The two shared a laugh, their voices carrying softly over the eerie quiet of the ruins. Ahead of them, Damon came to a sudden stop, raising a hand to signal silence. Instantly, Theo and Jace fell quiet, their senses sharpening. Damon's weapon swept the horizon, his movements precise, his body a wall of vigilance. After a tense moment, Damon motioned for them to keep moving, not saying a word. Jace leaned closer to Theo and whispered, "You'd think the guy was in a spy movie or something." Theo suppressed a laugh. "He's just being cautious. You should probably take a page out of his book." "Hey," Jace said, waving a hand dismissively. "Life's more fun when you don't take it too seriously, but don't worry, I know when to get serious. Like when I find my miracle plant." Theo shook his head with a smile. "Well, here's hoping you do. The world could use some hope right about now." Jace's grin softened into something more genuine. "Yeah, it really could." They continued their journey, the dynamic between them a balance of light-hearted banter and quiet determination. Damon remained a silent sentinel at the front, always watching, while Theo and Jace's conversation brought a sense of humanity and warmth to the otherwise eerie and desolate ruins. As they walked through the ruins, Jace was mid-sentence about how he planned to name a plant after himself, when Kira's voice cut through their comms, sharp and urgent. "Alert! I'm seeing movement in the canals. The drones picked up 3 large alligators heading your way. Huge ones. Warning, take cover!" Jace froze, his hand halfway to another glowing flower. "Alligators? Did she just say alligators? In Atlantis? Are you kidding me?" Theo grabbed Jace by the arm and pulled him closer to Damon, who had already raised his weapon, his eyes scanning their surroundings. "Stay behind me," Damon growled, his tone leaving no room for argument. "Both of you." A low, guttural growl echoed from the canal to their left, followed by the sound of water churning violently. The first alligator appeared, its monstrous body glistening with scales that seemed almost metallic in the faint metromite glow. Its teeth were jagged and yellow, its eyes glowing faintly as if it were a creature born of the strange energy of Atlantis. "Left flank, 2 meters ahead." Kira's voice came through again, calm but urgent. "Damon, prepare to fire. Theo, Jace, stay out of its reach." Damon didn't need the reminder. He steadied his weapon, stepping forward as the second alligator emerged from the canal, its massive jaws snapping with a bone-chilling crack. "Stay back," he barked, shoving Theo and Jace behind him with one arm while keeping his aim locked on the creatures. "Right side, Damon! Move forward 2 steps and take cover behind that pillar," Kira instructed through the comms. Damon followed the command without hesitation, his sharp movements calculated and precise. The first alligator lunged, its massive body surging toward them with terrifying speed. Damon fired, the sound of his weapon echoing through the ruins. The bullet struck the creature's side, but it barely flinched, its thick scales absorbing most of the impact. "Damn it," Damon muttered, adjusting his aim. "Kira, how do we take these things down?" "Go for the underbelly," Kira replied. "Aim low when they lunge. They're vulnerable there. Second gator is flanking right. Theo, Jace, move!" Theo grabbed Jace, yanking him back as the second alligator's tail whipped dangerously close to them. "I really hate this place!" Jace shouted, stumbling as they scrambled behind a fallen column. Damon stepped into the open, his jaw clenched as the second alligator lunged at him. He fired 3 quick shots, each one aimed at the creature's exposed underbelly as it leapt. Blood spattered the ground as the bullets found their mark, and the beast let out a guttural roar before collapsing in a heap, its massive body thrashing weakly before going still. "Left side, Damon! Move forward 3 steps!" Kira called out again, guiding him as the first alligator surged forward. It snapped its jaws at him, missing by inches as Damon sidestepped and fired again, this time striking its vulnerable underbelly. The creature howled, blood pooling beneath it as it retreated toward the canal. The third alligator appeared, smaller but no less deadly. It made a beeline for Theo and Jace, who were crouched behind their makeshift cover. Damon turned, his weapon already trained on it. "Stay down!" he shouted, unloading a round into the creature as it lunged. The bullets hit their mark, and the third alligator let out a final guttural hiss before collapsing into the shallow water. Breathing heavily, Damon lowered his weapon, his eyes scanning the canal to ensure no more threats lingered. Kira's voice came through the comms again. "They're retreating. You're clear. For now. Nice work, Damon." Kira took a deep breath, her eyes scanning the ruins of the once majestic city. "It is beautiful," she said softly, her voice filled with wonder. "But imagine it, when the city was alive, when the shield was fully operational, protecting the people inside. They must have felt safe, thriving under its power, while the chaos of the outside world raged on." Jace groaned from his spot behind the column, swiping dirt off his face. "Safe? Seriously? Kira, you keep going on about how beautiful this place is. Let me tell you something. This isn't beautiful. This is hell. Everything here wants to eat us alive." Kira smiled faintly, her gaze unwavering. "Maybe it's not about what we see now, Jace. It's about what it once was and what it stood for. Even ruins can hold beauty if you look beyond the danger." Jace huffed, standing up and brushing himself off. "Look beyond the danger? Kira, we're not philosophers here. We're the filet mignon of this jungle buffet. These creatures take one look at us and think, oh, fancy steak night." Theo couldn't help but laugh, the tension finally easing as the 3 of them regrouped. "I think we've had enough excitement for one day." Damon, still scanning their surroundings, finally allowed himself to lower his weapon fully. "Let's move. We've wasted enough time." With Kira's voice in their ears and Damon leading the way, they carefully made their way back to the sphere. The glowing structure loomed ahead like a beacon of safety, and as they boarded, Jace let out an exaggerated sigh of relief. "Home sweet home," he said, flopping into one of the chairs inside. If anyone needs me, I'll be cataloging my plants and pretending this nightmare didn't happen. With Kira's voice in their ears and Damon leading the way, they carefully made their way back to the sphere. The glowing structure loomed ahead like a beacon of safety, offering the first real sense of security since the attack. As they stepped inside, Lena was already waiting, arms crossed, brows furrowed. "What the hell happened out there? I was barely ahead of you, and Kira started yelling about alligators." Jace, still dripping from the chase, shook his head dramatically. "Oh, just another peaceful nature walk until prehistoric monster gators tried to make us their lunch." Lena's eyes widened. "You're joking!" Damon, ever serious, simply wiped down his weapon. Number. They were fast, they were huge, and they were definitely not normal. Lena let out a slow breath. "And here I thought the scions were bad." Jace groaned as he flopped into a chair, swiping dirt off his face. Yeah, Atlantis is a paradise, Kira. Just ignore all the things trying to eat us.